Get home. Get comfy, King.
Turn me on. Hey, the thing snapping right next to me make me feel a little special, man. It make me feel a little special. Yo, what is very good, man? Listen.
You know how you just never told nobody was recording? You just went into it? I love it, though.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I try to keep the
But he's been doing it the
authenticity.
last couple episodes, though, so it's wild.
I just be want to see what anybody gonna say, just in case I gotta drop receipts. You see what's going on with Joe now? Just in case I gotta drop receipts for anything. Yo, what is very, very, very good, man? It's a beautiful day. We're recording this on a Sunday. It seems like that's the recording day, as always, man. It is Dev the Voice, and right now you listen to the Outrighteous podcast. Before I get into anything, I am with people who for 80 episodes, 90 episodes, I have not introduced, and regardless of who we sit next to, I'm not introducing
the bombs.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
We talked about
Ooh-wee.
The bombs.
Ooh-wee. Nah, man, go ahead, Kings. Introduce yourself.
You already know what it is. The most versatile last name in the game. Bedside. Benson. Hey, yo, today, bro.
What are you going
Double V Benson. You feel me? That means I'm double vaccinated.
Yeah.
DeJuan already said the shops we open up on June 2nd.
Yeah.
And you already, the CDC said if you got that serum in you, super soldier serum in you,
that super soldier serum.
Yo, mask off. You feel me? We
Come
lit.
on, man.
They said you got a super soldier serum, you out here.
With that
I'm free.
You like make that million.
Yeah, come on, dude. You in the running for you about to win a meal now.
Hey.
Oh, this pod going to a new level. Don't forget us.
Let me tell you something. If I win a meal off the serum certificates, my nigga.
I already know this is the last episode.
You ain't gonna see me no more. I'm gone.
I already know.
I'm gone.
He said, I'm grinding to disappear.
I'm out.
It's the last episode.
I am grinding to disappear, but y'all know the vibes is Don Jones, a.k.a. Baritone, deepest voice in the game. I can't say I'm double vaccinated.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm
you are vaccinated, though.
You're trying to win a million. You don't want that
trying to win a million.
You don't want that bread.
He's vaccinated.
You don't want that bread.
Johnny, he's back. I see them the other night. I said, yo, is that a Band-Aid on your arm? And he said, I'm vaccinated.
Go ahead, lie again.
Yo, Don ain't trying to get that bread.
I'm dead. Y'all say.
I did it for the check. I ain't do it for the.
Wait,
he said, I didn't do it to be safe. I said, you said $1 million?
I'm telling you.
Hey, look, Johnny got to smack in his own arm. I'm good.
Before we get into the festivities of today, if you were vaccinated prior to Mike announcing the lottery, do you still get put in the lottery or no?
If you're vaccinated, I do believe you still got put in the lottery. If you just got vaccinated. I don't think Mike would do you like that.
I feel like it's like a scam to that.
But life is a scam.
Facts.
Yo, who are you mad at? Hey, listen.
Hey, look. We said most transparent podcast in the world. Okay, let's get transparent then.
Come on, man. Hey, listen. Speaking of that, Don, I like that energy, man. One, we are the most transparent podcast in the world. But you know what else makes us pretty special, man? The fact that people care. People care. One, we wouldn't even be able to sit and talk confidently the way we talk if we did not have such a strong organic audience. So one, let me put some bombs on them, man.
God damn it, the bombs.
Come on. Oh yeah, my fault. I had to turn the ooey up because the bomb has a little bit more echo, man. But I'm turning the ooey up, man. And we love y'all for helping us get to a place where we could talk confidently. But most importantly, man, important people like to stop by this show. And not just people like, you may think important people like your cousin got a mixtape. You may think important people like your cousin shooting his first music video. You may think important people like, you know what? Hold on, man. I'm going to just be straightforward.
Dev. This is a crucial time in history.
You're right. All right, my boy. It's muscle memory for me, man. Hey, we got Kumar, Arora in the building with us today, man. I'm not going to drop a bomb. I'm going to put an ooey. So listen, Kumar, before you say a word, this is what I'm going to tell people. And I want you to give us a little bit of a longer introduction. Not a longer introduction, but I want you to tell people a little bit more about yourself. But before we get too deep, if you've ever seen the brand Ilthy, if you have ever thought for a moment that you were participating in the culture, if you ever thought for a moment that you were cool, if you ever thought for a moment that the chick that you liked you because of the sweatshirt you had on, this is the guy that made that possible for you.
He is the reason.
And you know what else is the reason?
What?
Cleveland.
Come on now.
Yo, hey, I'm not going to drop a bomb, but I'm going to put an ooey on that. I'm going to put an ooey on that. Kumar, what's cracking, man? What's up, man?
What's going on?
before we get into the details of who you are, we do a mental health check. These two guys will tell you that I don't care about their mental health, but that is a false narrative that they paint, so I look like the bad guy.
What's funny is, let's just not digress. He says it as he did and didn't look at us. He looked right at you. He made sure to let you know that he don't care about our mental health because he really doesn't. He cares about yours. So you can go ahead and let us know. Because Johnny, you good? Because I'm good.
Smooth, baby.
Okay, just want to make sure.
What's up, Kumar? How's your mental health, man? What's going on, King? Tell us not about who you are and what you've done yet, because I want the audience to have a moment for that. But just tell us, how are you feeling, what you've been up to?
Well, in regards to mental health, I'd say the last few months have been pretty tough, actually. I just moved back from LA, didn't really know where I was going to live.
Wow.
Packed up my stuff, made it back home, back with my girl. So things are a lot more stable now, but the last couple of months have been pretty, all over the place for me.
Yo, shouts out to the girl for letting you.
That's right.
Shouts out. Can I drop?
She brought me home.
No bombs?
No, not this episode.
All right, but I do have a round of applause. That's pretty culturally safe with a round of applause.
It's getting crazy in the Middle East right now. We can't do no bombs this episode, bro.
Not at all.
Shouts out to her. What caused is it moving too fast if we ask what caused the move back to Cleveland?
That was the pandemic. Honestly, I was here for. That's actually a funny story. I'll get into it. So it was middle of March. We didn't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
She's visiting LA, and it was that Friday whenever the lockdown started to happen, and she's got to fly back on that Sunday. And she's like, "Do you want to come with me?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. It's only going to be 2 weeks. No big deal, right? My office is closed for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I'll go to Cleveland with you. I'll come right back." And I just never came back.
Yeah.
I stayed the whole time. Started making masks, hand sanitizers. Got,
Oh, you start hustling.
Yeah, I just stayed here. I couldn't, I didn't know what to do that whole time while we were stuck in lockdown. So since then, I just never left, and now I'm back to being a Clevelander.
Real quick, before we get into the details, Johnny and Don, what was the moment that y'all realized the pandemic was about to last for more than 2 weeks? Because I too, like Kumar, thought that this was going to be 2 and out. So what was the moment?
I think like on a serious note,
yeah,
people start really dropping like flies. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
He was really dying from it.
Yeah.
And then also too, when they closed down, when they canceled sports, when they canceled college sports, and they said fuck the March Madness. I knew it was gonna be for a long run. I say y'all catching a multi-million-dollar contract.
And
it's bad.
March Madness?
It's bad out here. Yeah, it was bad.
That's tough.
So for me, it was definitely the March Madness thing. I was like, okay, we may be locked down, but the money is still in March Madness. I said, okay, March Madness about to happen. No, March Madness. Okay, all right, this might be a little real.
Yeah.
But I realized it was really real. That day we were in here recording right before Mike DeWine shut down the city.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, this lockdown is going into effect at 11 p.m. I said, okay,
It was 9.
it'll be a week, maybe 2.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, okay. Then my job was like, okay, y'all gonna be working every other day. We're still gonna pay y'all for all 5 days, but I'm working every day. I said, oh wow, this is real.
Yeah.
And then people talking about, oh, we need a vaccination. I said, oh, this is really real.
Really real. Super soldier serum.
Oh, super soldier serum. Hey, look, we got
Winter
super soldier.
I realized it was real when I promised somebody that we was going to link. I'm like, yo, give me 2 weeks and we gonna kick it as soon as this COVID talk is over. And then those 2 weeks came and we never linked. And I was like, yeah, nah.
That's not happening.
Yeah.
See you next year.
Yeah, see you next year. So Kumar, obviously COVID has stretched longer than we could have ever expected. Tell the people, because I don't know if we know the full story of Kumar. I'm not sure if we really know where it began. I think it's obvious to say where it looks like it started at from social media, from the standpoint of Ilthy growing as a brand. But where does the story for Kumar actually begin?
So we started in 1986.
Let's come on.
I love
now.
the transparency in the age.
We'll start from the beginning. So my parents came from India to Cleveland. My dad's a scientist and he worked at Case.
Yeah.
And I was born and raised in Cleveland, Little Italy.
Yeah.
And for me, just growing up on the East Side and a small little apartment, I had to learn a story of two things, right? One part being a Clevelander and what that's like to grow up as a son of an immigrant, right? But then also like carrying the cultures of being a hustler and having to cross 5,000 miles across the country with not even know the language and the culture and all that stuff.
So is this post racist Little Italy, or is this like?
No, it was during that time.
Oh, okay, cool.
No, I saw some things. I saw some things.
When you say Little Italy in the 80s, you say, oh Lord.
That's a great question, though. Yeah.
But no. So for me, like I said, born and raised in Cleveland, and my story of at least entrepreneurship, because I know that's the fun topic here, I think has always been a mixture of the thirst to learn as much as I can and just staying creative,
But did you grow up in a family that was like entrepreneur? Like I know you said your dad was a scientist, which is sort of like, damn, that's a little mind-boggling in itself. Like dad being a scientist. Yeah. Maybe it's a little mind-boggling to me because I grew up around trauma.
My parents, I mean, their story is pretty cool. My dad's a scientist. My mom was an artist. So for me, I kind of learned like the left brain, right brain. So for me, I can design, but I can do math, and I have to have an analytical side, and that's where you need your marketing, your sales, your analytics. But on the branding side, you need to know just good design, good creative, good branding, right? So I think I learned a little bit of both from my parents. That's actually kind of in some ways how I got the entrepreneurial chops.
What was like the first entrepreneurial moment that you had in your life? Like I think everybody in this room, we probably tried to sell lemonade. Have y'all tried to sell lemonade before?
No, mine was car washes.
Yours was car washes?
Yeah, car washes. So I was going up and down the street talking about, you guys need your car washed? I'll do it for $20.
Come on out. Johnny, what was yours?
I wasn't trapping on lemonade.
What did you sell?
Johnny selling dime bags of lemonade.
What was my first little like?
Bro said mix it yourself.
What was I selling? I wasn't even selling much for real. I just dropping knowledge.
So there was this, but there had to have been something though, like that you was doing, whether it was
potting.
I ain't gonna look. I ain't gonna hold you. My dad came from the streets. So my mom didn't want me even thinking about it.
But he saw it though. So that's the thing. As long as he saw it, whether it was,
mom's was like, nah.
That's real though.
We're not getting this back. We're not even gonna start early.
When moms don't let you even think about being an entrepreneur, you sort of can tell what type of family you come. If you don't think about getting a job,
my mom had trauma. She was like, I see your daddy in. Nah, cool.
I think mine started with I think my first thing was my first thing was lemonade. Mine was definitely like, boy, if you don't go and set up in front of the house. And I definitely had my sister make all the lemonade, and I just was out there like, you want some lemonade? I ain't really make too much. I'm no Kumar. But so what was the first thing that you started with, Kumar? What was the very first thing?
The first hustle was in high school for me. So I used to crack CDs, make, pirated music, DVDs, all that kind of stuff. So that was my first real, you could say, hustle, where I had to learn to like obviously make the product, sell the product, scale it.
LimeWire?
All that, yeah. Napster, all that. So that was, you could say that was probably the beginning. Yeah. I don't know if that counts as a business, but in college I was actually a club promoter.
Wow.
You wouldn't see that, in my social media today, but that's where I met, Evie and Glenn, all those guys. So for me, I was in Columbus at Ohio State, and I was just doing hundreds, if not thousands, of parties by the end of my 4 or 5 year kind of stint in college.
When did you realize like? So wait, did you graduate from Ohio State?
Yeah, I graduated.
I say I graduated. I got the degree.
Nah, because you know how most entrepreneurs, the story is like, I'm gonna give you a story. I'm gonna make a false Kumar story right now. I start off, I'm promoting college parties.
Right.
Making bread.
Right.
It's me.
Turned up.
It's Glenn.
Lit.
It's Evie. And eventually we realize we making too much money to go to class tomorrow.
Fuck this.
So I drop out and I start Facebook.
Fuck professor.
That's the glamorous story, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we always assume. But honestly, the most successful entrepreneurs are usually in their 40s and 50s. The glamour story is the one that, leaves at 21 to go start a business. But no, I graduated.
So when did you realize that you could transition this into something and not just the parties thing, but when did you realize like, I'm an entrepreneur by heart? And hold on, before we even get there, let's do this some justice. Because I don't want this to come off as interview. I want this to be conversational. Yeah. And I want people to find inspiration in this. The very first party that you threw in college, you at Ohio State.
Yeah.
The biggest school, the most popular school.
Yep.
What year is it?
It's 2005, November.
Don, who's the quarterback? Do you know?
Wow. Put me on the spot. Absolutely not. I don't know.
No, but 2005, that was like a very turning point in like Cleveland music. Like a lot of music pumping out.
I like it.
Time.
So you have the Cleveland music pumping. You in Columbus. What was the very first part? Did people show up? Did people not show up? What was that very first?
Packed. We had about 2,600 people, lines out the door. Wow. Had to turn away about 500 people, and that's when I knew I'm like, okay, this could be something real. I could do this, you know?
How did y'all go about spreading the word? Was it like, yo, let's just hit up all the promoters? Was it like, nah, let's hit some really attractive women? And because if I was throwing a party today, that's where I'm starting at. Attractive women. So where did you all
back
start?
Back then, there was no YouTube. You know, Facebook had just started, right? But there wasn't, you know, you had to be out in the streets. You had to put up flyers on cars, posters on, you know, just boards. So for me, it was all word of mouth.
Wow.
You know, there was no social media to work off of. I actually would say those that have learned how to promote or sell without an email, a phone number, or, you know, social media, that's a lot of power.
That's a real grind.
What can you do when you don't have all those tools?
That is a real grind. Because like imagine, I've done it before.
It's not easy.
Right. Just putting like flyers, all that stuff on people's cars.
The guerrilla marketing ain't no joke.
Yeah. It's not. That's different. And like, I'm gonna be real, entrepreneurs nowadays don't find the humbleness in that. Mm-hmm. Like think about it now, you're like, okay, I'm not gonna do that. I refuse to do that.
Right.
Make a flyer. Like people like think about it with the mixtape artist who's sitting outside, you know, the gas station, like, hey man, I'm selling it for $1 or I'm just giving it to you. How many people really do that? No, I'm not about to do that.
Right.
It's not glamorous enough for me to what?
Why you think that is though?
Because we grew up in that, we didn't have that. Like we're gonna show our age a little bit. Yeah, we had it, but it wasn't to the extent it is now. Like nowadays, nowadays you got people who go on Instagram and post a video of them running up and down the street. They might get 500,000 views, which will get them some money. We didn't have that. Yeah, we had Instagram, right? But how many followers you had on Instagram in like 2005? 5.
No, Instagram wasn't around. It wasn't
around. 5. Yeah, 5. It wasn't even around.
2011, 2012.
There you go. So you're like, shoot, how do I get this out without cold calling people? Like, hey, I don't know what your Saturday's looking like, but we're gonna be at the Agora. We're gonna be at Rumor. We're throwing a party. Come through.
Bring your friends.
Bring your friends. All of that.
That was an era, and like. I'll say before any parties before like 2014. I'll say before like you started seeing like the stories like posting instantly and posting for like other people, quick stories like that.
Yeah,
like that's when the era when it was purely the party. Like you came for the vibe. Like you didn't come for like to show everybody else. Like your good time had to happen right there. You see, you really couldn't fake it or get validation for it. Like the vibe had to be right. Because like it's really based off like the word of mouth, like you were saying. So like everybody ain't gonna see it online. You feel me? Because I've been to a lot of parties where online it looked lit. When I was there, it was not lit. You feel me? True, yeah. But if he throws a party, and the next one they like, yeah, I had a good time. I gotta come. Or like, yo, bro, you didn't go to Kumar's party last week?
You missed out.
Right. All the whole of that. All the yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like that it's just a different. I don't even like going to concerts no more or parties now. It's all about this, like showing everybody else around you instead of living in the moment. That's when you used to come out. You leave a party like with a fly fit and leave out sweaty and like you done put in some work.
So Kumar, I want to ask you this.
Yeah.
Staying in this party zone, staying in this party realm of entrepreneurship, and with you being a credible entrepreneur that you are. And we'll continue to dive deeper into why that is and how that happened. If you were, as a party promoter, surviving in the pandemic, even if it's the social media age, what would you do to really separate yourself? Or not even separate yourself. I'm not even going to ask you such a hard question of separate yourself, but how would you stay afloat?
That's a good question. You know, when you look at a party, obviously it's an experience. It's based around just a gathering of some sort. It could be a house party, it could be a club party, it could be, you know, whatever it is, right? You're creating an experience. I would say find a way to bring that into a digital form, right? We've seen that with DJs going live.
Yeah.
Right? Create an experience. So if you have to do something, create a digital version of what you already did, right? And try to keep it alive, keep your brand going until this is all over. That's what I would do. Or I would have done, but luckily I'm not a promoter anymore. I had to get out of that quick.
I won't drop bombs, but I'll put an ooey on it though. Right. So go ahead.
No, I'm saying like even though, like how not even switch gears, but how was that moment when you met like Glenn and EV? Like talk. Let's dive into that.
That's a good story. I don't think a lot of people know that. So I'm 19. 18, 19, Eric's probably around the same age, and he wanted to come down to Columbus, and he didn't really have anyone. I'm from Cleveland too, so it worked out. We started talking on AIM, actually, AOL, and he's like, "Hey, my name's Eric. We should, bring me out." So he would come out to DJ for me for like $100 a night, and I was kind of the guy that brought him out to Columbus. So he was DJing all the major clubs out there. Yeah, when I was like 19 to 23, and that's how Eric and I became best friends. We ended up, doing our thing out in LA too, and he's involved with a lot of my different businesses and my work that I do. So Eric's a dear friend, and that's actually how we met. It was strictly through MySpace and AOL.
But what about it made you choose EV though? You know him as Eric. We know him as EV.
Right,
the listeners know him as EV.
Eric and I mean, we rise up in our ranks in our own respective careers, but I think when it came to Eric, he just was so aggressive with what he does, right? The way he was on MySpace is kind of the same way he was today, with constantly being, someone who's promoting what he's up to, what he's doing, right? He's been so consistent in his career, and I think that's really what it was he would message me, we would talk every week. He never let go. He wanted to get to Columbus. He made it happen. And I think that's what's made him stand out versus any other Cleveland DJ I met at that time.
So what about, I think, just to follow up with Johnny's question, so what about with Glenn? Is it the same?
Kind of, yeah. Well, it's the other way around now. Now I'm messaging Glenn, right? So, and I don't even think Glenn remembers this story. So I'm probably 2021. We're talking about 14 some years ago now. And I had designed Ohio State's, agenda book or whatever that they sell. And I was looking at it, and I was designing in the style that Glenn would do up in Cleveland while I'm down in Columbus. And so I used kind of similar vector artwork, very colorful. And he had just started working, I think, at Hot Cards at around that time. So he was just kind of doing his thing in the beginning, again, on MySpace. I would message him like, "Yo, your work is so cool. I want to work with you someday." And then about 8 years later, we became business partners.
Wow.
We met at a Wiz Khalifa concert we did out in Toledo.
Wow.
That you had put on as a promoter.
Yeah, I was working with Living Legends at the time, who now
I love the subtle places.
You're right. The subtle. We're here for the subtle ones.
You look at, and a lot of people probably don't know, but the community of music, fashion, entertainment, all was intertwined between so many different cities. It wasn't just Cleveland, right? And you look at everyone today, like we all kind of grew up and did our own thing, or we're still intertwined. But it's crazy how the story works out, where I'm working with Glenn at Ilthy. Eric was booking Glenn for mixtape covers, right? My former business partner went to high school with Glenn, who was doing events with me. So it was just super random how we're all interconnected in this
small circle.
Crazy web. But Ohio's a small state.
So
everyone sort of knows everyone somehow here.
As facts.
That is true. How you think I know these guys? Our story is nowhere near as dynamic.
No, it depends who's telling the story.
If I'm telling it, I'm selling it.
Oh, you guys sell it.
If I'm telling it, I'm selling it.
Dev's like, "Yo, we met in college. It was great.
Bro,
we ate the calf a couple times, and no, you gotta sell it."
No, that's facts. I'm a work on selling it.
So being a party promoter, since we're talking about selling, you
Yeah.
have to naturally sell yourself.
Yeah, you gotta persuade.
So like, how hard was it, especially during that time, to sell? Okay, look, biggest club or one of the biggest clubs in Columbus. Hey, look, I'm Kumar. This is what I can bring to the table. This is what I need from you, but I'm really bringing the party with me.
Yeah.
Here's because we didn't have, all this technology we have now where I can show you, okay, this is how many people came to my party. This is how many people paid this amount. Yeah. So like, how hard or how easy was that for you to kind of sell yourself in Columbus? I know you were at Ohio State, but it's like, okay, really, unless you play football, everybody's like, okay, who's this guy coming in? 19-year-old, 20-year-old.
Oh, I was acting like I was 23, signing contracts I was probably not allowed to back then. For me, it's interesting because I had such a big change from high school to college, but I was your very typical Steve Urkel in high school. Like, didn't talk to girls, little chubby, big glasses. Like, I was not who you would think as a club promoter 3 years later. But I think I got to Columbus and I was, I want to shed this persona of mine. I can't be playing video games, building robots all day, selling CDs and whatnot. I wanted to learn marketing and sales and design. I wanted to become someone else, So for me, it was more so the idea of wanting to try something, and trying to just learn. For me, and in some ways, just like I talked about that agenda book that I did, I was making club flyers. That's kind of how it started. I knew how to design. I just didn't know how to sell yet. Right. But eventually I was like, wait, if I've got this flyer I just made, I can promote it now too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where, to me, I look at any fellow entrepreneur. If you can create and you could sell, you are unstoppable. Right.
So
most entrepreneurs can only really do one or the other.
So did you have an end goal for it? So was it like, okay,
I was just trying to have
for us, like, right, for us, at least for me, if I was kind of doing that, because like, okay, I'm really just trying to make a couple dollars. Like, I'm pretty poor in college. I know I was very poor in college, and it's like, okay, I'm party promoting just to get a couple dollars. So was it like an end goal for you?
No,
I'm just doing it for fun.
It wasn't a money play. I think I kind of fell into it because I enjoyed it. But I think I saw the money starting to come in. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, I can do what I love, what I enjoy, but also make some money at the same time. And I think I kind of carry that with everything I do now. I won't ever invest or build something that I don't really believe in.
I got two things that I want to ask you.
Yeah.
One, to start, I guess it may be this will sort of wrap up the party promoter phase of the Kumar story, but with you coming from a family of a scientist and an artist, and you come in a crib and you like, Mom, me, Evie, and Glenn promoting these parties. How was that conversation?
They were not about it. They hated it.
Tell us that you want the most transparent podcast in the game. You got to tell us the convo.
So my dad was furious. I was trying to at that time be a doctor, right? Like every Indian kid is supposed to be. So they were not happy because I wanted to kind of deviate and try something else. So I told them I was doing the club stuff. I try to limit what I would tell them, but I think when the money started coming in, when I started doing shows and tours with Chip and MGK and all these guys, I think that's when they started to see it, start to blossom. And they're like, okay, he wants to pursue entrepreneurship. That term didn't really exist back then. I don't even think there was a major for it.
Yeah.
We're talking about 2006, 2007. So back then, you can pursue a business degree and go work at a corporate firm, but the idea of owning your own business was not something you do when you go to college. So they were very against it. So it wasn't until I think my mid-20s until they started to understand, this is what I want to do and this is where I'm going to go, and now they're huge supporters.
Yeah.
But it wasn't easy. I'll tell you that.
Nah, for sure. Trust me, I have a hard enough time explaining what a podcast is.
And they start seeing that bag, they was like, this might be a job for my son after all.
Yeah. You know how many times I had to say, Mom, don't Google what I do. Don't Google it. But I want to ask you this, man. The O State, Kumar at O State, you link up with Evie, you link up with Glenn. You all have no idea who you will become to the state of Ohio. I want to think a little bit bigger than the city. You all have no idea who you will become to the state of Ohio. Before we dive deeper into more of your story, do y'all ever sit in a group chat and be like, damn?
All the time. We're always posting old photos of each other. It's not just, Eric and Glenn, but there's a ton of just a cast of characters you meet along the way. And, it's always fun to look back. For me, I also think I'm still young in some ways. For sure. Even though I got a little bit of gray now, but it's fun to see where we're going to go in the next 20, 30 years, right? And I say this to all my friends is that, who you meet early on and you continue to build and work with them, you're playing a long-term game, right? You're building with a long-term set of people here. And that compounding effect is very powerful. You make a lot of money if you stick with the same people for a long time.
But what made it to where you felt like these were the two guys that you would build with? Because transparently speaking, we started this podcast about 2 or 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago at this point. And we sort of started, and I think everybody was like, let's see who's going to stick with it. You know what I'm saying? Guys, am I lying or am I dying?
You're talking. You're still alive. All right. Go ahead, get your shit off.
So we started with, let's figure out who's going to stick. Once again, I don't want this to come off so interviewee. Kumar, tell us, how did you know it's going to stick with these guys? And maybe even tell us a little bit about the guys without saying who they are, the guys that it didn't stick with.
Make it, yeah. Two things. One, you'll know within the first year of meeting someone if they've got the mindset or the growth mindset of who they're going to become. You probably already know that with amongst your own friends. Think about it. Does this person fit who I am today and who I want to be later? If that's true, they will probably be in your life. If they are in that moment and they are stuck in that moment and they don't have the ability to grow with you, they're probably going to fall off. Think about
If
that.
we had a playback.
Think about that.
Run it 2 times.
Run that back.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's definitely facts. Because you even if you think about just life in general.
Yeah.
How many people after a year you're like,
Yeah.
I see them around. It's cool. You know, it's all love at any point, but it's like I can't do business with them.
Well, let's think even more simple. Like you party with someone, before the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
You see them every weekend. You're out of the club. You're having a good time. You see them once a week. That's fun, right? But what are they like when they're not in the club,
Facts.
right? And you're sober and you're at brunch or whatever it is, right? Can you hang out with them? If you can, great. Chances are you're going to be able to hang out with them in different settings, in different timelines, in different decades. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that applies to Eric, Glenn, and a bunch of my friends that we all kind of did our thing in different, schools, timelines, and cities.
Yeah.
And we're also doing our own thing. We're not necessarily in the exact same lane.
Right. How important is that part though? Like, how important is it for Kumar to do Kumar, Glenn to do Glenn, and EV to do EV? Because we all do that. And then I think for most teams or most people, everybody want to do one thing. But we sort of came into this, so it's like, no, I want you to do you. I want you to do you. I want you to do you. How important is it for the three of you all who have sort of trailblazed this road for guys like us to do what we do as individuals and as a team? How important is it for somebody to still be an individual? Well,
it depends, right? In your example, we're talking about individuals who kind of charted a course to pursue their own brand, their own story, their own kind of project, right?
Yeah.
In some ways, we are a team, but we're not necessarily like the Avengers.
Right.
You know what I mean? We all kind of have our own movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
it
really just depends what you're looking at. If it's a team, you build with them, you grow with them, and you stick together on the same exact project. In the case of Ilthy, right? Glenn and I have been at it now for well over 10 years.
Yeah.
And that as a project in itself has been running successfully this long, and I hope will continue to go for another 10 years. But when you look at our individual, interests and passions, I think that it's more so the ability to be able to come back together and work on something new.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get into this. Let's get into the Ilthy bag real quick.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Ilthy is probably one of the most culturally relevant brands in Cleveland. You know what I mean? For the past, I remember back in the day when he said like the 3I, like indie, like I remember those. You feel? I remember those days, and now seeing you grow to now, can you give us that story of how that came together, just overall?
So my story starts about a year after Ilthy started. I met Glenn again at that concert in Toledo, and we chopped it up for a bit. Eric was the one that was like, "You guys need to sit down, chop it up, do some business." And it was now 2011, and Glenn came to me. He was like, I need an investment. That's kind of what I was doing at that time. I was looking at investments and kind of expanding my portfolio at that point. And I always admired his work in general as an illustrator. He deserved, that chance to be able to create something like I did, Right. So, I took the leap of faith on him. We started the first store together on Detroit. And I actually had no idea what streetwear was at that time. I knew what clothing was, apparel, manufacturing, design, but I didn't really know enough about the streetwear world in 2011. It existed, but it wasn't what it is today. But, as the years went on, like I said before, I just get deep into what I do and I learn what I can. You know? And for me, I'm obsessed with branding. I'm obsessed with design. I'm obsessed with creative and marketing. So for me, I really just took on the role of doing all the stuff that Glenn doesn't want to do. For the first few years, but those passions that I had, I think really evolved to work side by side with him to create things like toys and basketballs and all the stuff you see today.
So this is what I just pulled my phone up to try to Google something because I wanted to know.
What'd you find?
Talk
about hot takes.
I wanted to know, once you've seen people. So you just told us the story of when Ilthy started. We just heard about how it changed Johnny's life and took him from the street kid that he was and turned him into the Christian man that he is today. What? When you seen LeBron with the platform that he has, King James, the man that he is, the young man that is running the city, the state, the Cavaliers. When you seen LeBron supporting Ilthy, was that a phone call prior to him wearing it, or was it an email that's like, Brian, we gonna send this to you?
Are you talking about most recently or years ago?
I'm saying years ago when it very first happened.
Well, the first time he wore Ilthy, actually, it was a proper collab. We did it with Meal, and it was for the Olympics in 2012.
Okay,
so that was the first.
That's
time
pretty
we
big.
Saw it. Yeah.
Hold on, let me put a ooh-wee on that. I won't put a bomb. I'm respectful.
Oh, no.
I will put a ooh-wee on that.
But when it came to LeBron, and we know enough about his story. I don't need to get too deep into it. Yeah. But like he has always supported small business. He's always supported local. Even now, he still does, right? And obviously, he's got so much going on with Akron in general. But even more recently, that was actually through the Midwest Kids. They sent the caps and they let us know that he's got it. But I knew the moment he saw it, he knew it was us too.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate to be able to work with him. We did a TV show together out in LA.
Talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah, it was 2016. It was called Cleveland Hustles.
Okay.
You guys are familiar with it. It was on CNBC. We were the number 2 show at that time. So I was one of the sharks on that show, actually. So youngest investor ever on television and the first Indian American.
It's hard not putting. It's hard not wanting to put bombs on that. Bombs are a sign of respect on this show.
Yeah.
And I'm going against my code.
Nope.
It's tough to not put bombs on that. Because, listen,
right now.
The youngest investor, the first Indian investor, it's a lot of respect.
You have applause.
And what about this? I mean, picked by LeBron, right?
Yeah.
That's a big deal in itself to be recognized with the work I've done. Not necessarily from like the party scene, but he's seen small steps along the way. And I think that's an achievement in itself to be recognized like that.
So what was did LeBron call you and say, yo, I want you to do the show for me? Did somebody
that's a funny
Kumar!
story. No, that's a funny story.
Yo!
So
hey, my guy.
I kept getting these emails. This is when I was living in LA in 2015.
Okay.
I was getting these emails which looked like spam, to be honest. It was, hey, we're doing this TV show. We think you're a good fit. And it was a very generic looking flyer for casting.
Yeah.
And I get 2 of those in that week, and then I get a phone call, and they didn't say anything about CNBC. LeBron's name was not mentioned. There was nothing about Cleveland at all yet, but they said that I'd be a good fit. And I just kept deleting those emails. I had no idea what it was.
Now I know why it took so long for I got this podcast
by someone else, and they're like, oh, there's this opportunity that you're a perfect fit for. We don't really have a lot of people who are always trying to revitalize Cleveland, invest in Cleveland people. You should call this person back.
Yeah.
Right. And it was the casting director for what became Cleveland Hustles. And, I took that phone call, and it was so early on that they didn't know neighborhoods. They didn't know anything. This was all LA people, mind you.
Wow.
Right? They didn't know. So they called me, and I was probably one of the first few people that were like in the running to be one of the sharks. And I was like, look, I'm from Cleveland, born and raised. I know the city. I've been doing this.
Yeah.
You guys should pick me. Don't pick some random dude in San Francisco to invest in Cleveland, because he'll do it and then walk away.
Right.
Invest in the guys who want to rebuild the city.
No, that's a fact.
And that was my pitch. I did the little auditions. I went in for castings, and they ended up picking me. And I actually helped kind of build the show along the way with, what neighborhoods to look at, what kind of businesses, what's the environment look like in Cleveland. This is 2015, 2016. Eventually, then LeBron was revealed that he's part of the show, and this is with Spring Hill.
Yeah.
So I helped kind of build the show, and then didn't realize I'd have to go back home to film it. Right.
Yeah.
So that was during 2016. Best year ever for Cleveland. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So while we were filming, they were winning the finals, which was kind of cool. So that was actually aired into the show too. So our show aired August of 2016, a month after or 2 months after
the
finals had happened, which is kind of cool.
All right.
Who, as an investor, I think that people, when we look at business now and we look at investors, and I think we often think like, oh, investors love tech companies. Investors love things that they're going to know they're going to get their money back on. During the Cleveland Hustle show, was it ever a time where you said yes and you weren't fully sure if you was going to make your money back?
Oh, that's let's backtrack here. An investor will always think that there's a good chance of losing it. There's always that sense of fear. I think that's it's like an addiction, right? That's kind of why you do it, is you want to take your knowledge and your ideas and what you know and try to find a way to help that business too.
Right.
But there's always, the success of a business, it's kind of like finding that unicorn, right?
Yeah.
1%. So that's the game you play, is that you hope that you might make 100 investments, one pops off.
Yeah.
Right? You know, but in the case of Cleveland Hustles, most of the businesses that were small business. That's a very big difference between a startup and a small business. So I could safely say that of the few hundred that came, you know, during the castings and whatnot, a lot of them actually ended up happening, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, and they actually became real businesses without our help.
So even like with that, what advice would you give maybe a small business or startup that is trying to get an investor? Because I feel like sometimes it's like it's hard to either, you don't even know where to start. Like, where do I start and who do I even look out to contact? There's no like investors, Wikipedia.com for like people just want to get their money out.
Yeah, there's not necessarily like a database or like something you can look up. But I mean, I think that if anyone's trying to start a small business post-pandemic now, I mean, you have to look for your city for those resources. You know, there's Cozy, there's Edge, there's Jumpstart. There are places you can go that can provide certain resources or tell you how to get what you might need to get going. As far as finding an investor, though, that's a little harder. I would say anyone who's got a small business should be able to get to a point where they can be somewhat operational to show that this can work or has the potential to work. Yeah. And that's when you have to go and, you know, raise money. You know what I mean? So I think proof of concept is really important, because a lot of people will have a business idea that they never actually tried, but you got to try and you got to put the work in to learn it and then come back to someone like an investor to say, this is what I know so far. This is what I've done. What am I either doing right and wrong, and how can I scale this?
So with you being, of course, naturally an entrepreneur, what would be the number one advice or piece of advice? Because I mean, we're naturally entrepreneurs, all three of us, in our own right. Whether it's, you know, of course, the pod or the other stuff that we have going on. Yeah. So what's the one piece of advice you'd give, whether we took it or not? Because, you know, we call ourselves entrepreneurs, but we're really not that long in the game, not like you.
I mean, I would say that, you know, look at entrepreneurship as a journey. Don't look at it as kind of a specific thing you do. I mean, I could say even right now, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's okay. Yeah. That's totally fine. The idea is that I know that now and I'm willing to learn, you know, and I can maybe look back at this podcast in 20, 30 years and look back at it and see how much I've learned along the way, because it's a journey, right? And every failure, every scar, every business relationship that doesn't work out, these are experiences you learn. Look at them as that. Don't look at them as something to be butthurt over, you know? And I think that's really what I try to do, is I look at every situation as an opportunity to be like, okay, I learned something from here. How can I make sure this never happens again? Right. You know? So, and that's probably the best thing I could tell someone.
Kumar, I want to ask you this. I'm a millennial, probably one of the like last few years of millennials.
No, so the last year.
I'm the last year?
95, 94, 96 is like debatable.
You know my body?
Between textbooks.
But do you know my body, though?
Because
you talking like you know my body.
Whoa. All right, so listen. I don't not. No. You know, but I say that and just let that pass through. I do not know your body.
You know what I mean. So, Kumar, let me ask you this. I want you to answer this question honestly. If I'm a millennial or I'm Gen Z, I'm on social media, I'm watching you, I'm watching the guys like Gary Vee, I'm watching the guys like Eric Thomas, I'm watching the guys that say, wake up, and when you get up, make sure you hustle, and don't take a minute to sleep because you're not allowed to sleep. And I'm not quoting Steve Harvey.
Just be quiet.
Yeah, you're in a nasty bag.
Are they, is that correct? Or is it like, nah, you can spend time with family, you can spend time with your girl.
Of course, you know, family first, guys. Come on, we know this. You know, as Midwest guys, I think we know that.
Yeah.
Right? Family or your happiness should come before your desire for money. Right? To your question about sleep, though, I mean, no, I think you guys, I sleep 8+ hours.
Yeah.
Right? It's not about what you're doing. It's about what you're doing with the time that you're awake, right? What you're learning, what you're doing, what you're working on. If you're working on the right stuff, not the wrong stuff, right? Some people might say they hustle so hard. What are you doing, right? You have to think about what it is you're exactly doing. For me, I spend at least 2 hours reading. You could say that's a waste of time. I don't think that at all. I think that's just giving me an opportunity to download more information to be a better person for the next day.
Yeah.
Right? That's my choice. I'm choosing to want to read for at least 2-3 hours a day.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that for me, sleep as much as you can. It's good for mental health.
And that's all we all about.
Eat right.
That's what me and Johnny about.
You got to eat right.
Yeah.
You know. So I think that you want to make sure you take care of your body and your mind together.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily believe in the idea that you have to overwork. And I understand the concept of sacrifice. And that's really what, Eric Thomas and Gary Vee, these guys are trying to tell you is you need to sacrifice, right? But at what cost, right? To cost of your family, cost of a child. It's never worth it, in my opinion. But what I can say is if you've got 8 hours to do something, make the most of it.
Yeah.
And if you keep that habit, just like when you're working out, you'll be able to at least change your life.
So
and these guys are also talking about this. Sorry,
no, go ahead.
It's good.
But it's about, they're telling us to become successful in what they think is success. But the question really is, what is success? Mm-hmm. To me, success is happiness and comfort. Mm-hmm. That might be different for someone who's trying to buy the jets.
That's a fact.
Right? I'm not trying to buy the jets. I'm trying to be happy.
Come on.
That's my goal.
I feel that. No, like, this is a quick, it's not a quick question. It's a question. So, how is it? Let me go back. Let me go a couple more minutes. Go ahead. In the back. You got Evie. This is a white man, right? You got
white boy.
You feel me? I was all disrespect on his name. Glenn as a Asian Pacific American. Mm-hmm. You as a first generation Indian American, right?
Yep.
Y'all three, but how is it with you three men, and having such an impact in Black culture with your branding, music, and stuff like that? How did you guys navigate in a space? You see what I'm saying? That is for everybody, but it is not of origin of you. You see what I'm saying? In that space. So like, how is it? Because Ilthy is a streetwear brand. It comes from urban culture, and you have very much an impact within urban culture in Cleveland. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. EV is one of the most respected DJs. Cleveland, Midwest, world, nation. We can call it how you want to spit it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you lit too. How is it navigating this space? And do you feel like at times, what responsibilities do you have in this space?
Are we talking about Black culture? Or are we just talking about
Black culture? I'll say Black culture.
Yeah. But I think that a couple things, right? So, why I think it's been working for us, the cosign. When it came to doing a show with Chip or MGK or whoever, right? I think having the cosigns, the same thing goes for Eric too, right? Like he put on for the city, even though he was a white boy, right? He had to get the cosign to do that. I think that applies to Glenn too. Like you have to be accepted to be part of that community. And then secondly, I think continuing to foster those relationships and continue to promote those relationships. So I think right when the stuff was going down last summer, I made a post and on social media on Ilthy, and I posted every other, Black illustrator, not about us. This isn't about us. You know, I made sure we made a shirt, even though we're Black, that it's going to go towards NAACP. I wanted to make sure that as minorities, we understand, and obviously with Asian hate going on and all that stuff, we know how to relate. We kind of grew up in some similar way, but we will never know exactly what it's like, but we can still, pay our respects.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we still continue to work with minorities across the board, and whether that's females, whether that's different illustrators, some of the stuff that we make isn't always done by me or Glenn. You know what I mean? So for me, I think it's about celebrating diversity.
Yeah.
Through the models that we choose, through who we work with, through who we partner with. I think that's really important, So I think for Ilthy as a brand, outside of, the narrative of making masks and what went on, I think we moved really quickly into the narrative of, things like Grassroots, which was towards nature, or just different kind of collections we do that are related to something that we actually care about.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what Ilthy's been about. We just don't always see it. Because in the beginning when we started, it was about NBA, hip-hop, streetwear, all the fun stuff, right? Donuts. But then as we grew up, our taste changed too.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I'm here with you guys. The same idea. It's like we need to be promoting you guys just as much as we promote Ilthy.
I'm fighting the bomb button.
It's the same reason why even for someone like me as a minority, I see what Justin Bibb is trying to do.
Yeah.
I respect that. And as a business owner and a figure in Cleveland, I want to be able to support my own.
Right.
Yeah.
I see myself in Justin. I might not look like him, but I see me in him too.
Yeah.
I see me in you guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're all in this together.
Appreciate that. And also too, I will say you have navigated very well. In that space, and I appreciate that.
Can I give him a round of applause?
Yeah, of course.
Hey, I had to check with the
no bombs for me.
Yeah, man.
Yo, we talking about brands. We talking about navigation. Before we started this pod, Johnny said something, and it made me uncomfortable.
Oh Lord, what'd I say, bro?
You know, he be saying a lot.
He said breakfast is dead, and I said to him, breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
No. See, you try to do this every episode. You try to twist my words.
I try to catch you.
If I can explain myself,
go ahead, King.
I'll say this: the way we do breakfast is different. Number one, people say breakfast, whatever.
Yeah,
the first meal you eat when you wake up.
Just think about it. The way our days are scheduled is so much different from traditional. Back in the day, you woke up 9 to 5. Honey, the eggs on the counter, you feel me? Newspaper in the morning.
Yo, you know you ain't grow up like that.
Come on, I didn't. No. I ain't grow up like that. But I'm talking about, you know what I mean?
Okay,
I didn't watch a lot of shows. You feel me? The perception of what it is,
for sure.
So, but now you know your 9 to 5 might be any time it wants to be. You can make your own 9 to 5.
Right.
So you're really waking up on your own. You're making your own schedule. Some people wake up at 11, and that's brunch. Chipotle open at 10:45.
Yo, you talking?
You know what I'm saying? So the way.
Have you been to Chipotle at 10:45?
Come on now.
For real?
Yo, you're really.
That's
a really weird breakfast.
That's a nasty bag.
That's a pretty weird breakfast.
Hey, yo,
not alone.
hey, I'm there.
He said,
at
let me get
10:45
double steak queso.
The rice is fresh.
I see you.
When you see the steam come out the chicken, you know it's
Harp,
right.
turn the camera because I see him.
Chipotle VIP.
Nasty bag. But so I'm saying, like, the way we everything's been changed, how we do things. And I feel like, you know, it is different. I'm not sometimes I don't have to wake up and grab a bowl. You feel me? I might just wait till like lunch.
So with that being said,
Talk to me.
Kumar, you come to us as somebody that we trust as an entrepreneur, somebody that we trust as a representative of many of the different opportunities and struggles that come from the place that we come from. You come to us with this brand, Trust
Foods.
Oh, I don't get no. Okay,
No, you don't.
Don't worry,
You
I'll
don't.
give myself
You
a
know,
round.
I knew where you were going. I wasn't gonna give you the satisfaction.
He was in his bag. I had to let my man finish.
No. You can let him finish. But because he was marinating over this when he first walked in the door,
cool.
I'm not giving that to him.
No, I'm gonna give it to him. I'm gonna let my man.
I appreciate you. I slept on that one. Kumar, you come to us with this brand, Trust. Tell us a little bit about what this is and what it means to you.
So we talk about my journey of entrepreneurship, starting from the club promotion days to building a brand with Ilthy, to working on the TV show at Cleveland Hustles. I actually made an investment on that show. It was called Old City Soda. If you guys are familiar.
Okay.
That's where my love for CPG began. CPG stands for consumer product goods, and I always knew I loved developing products, right? But I wanted to get in the food space. I think that a lot of entrepreneurs right now are being very disruptive, especially in Cleveland. We've got a really good space here of just a lot of innovation going on. You see it in Chicago, you see it in New York, you see it in Cleveland. Just the Midwest has got a lot of cool brands popping off that are making food, processed food or packaged food, but they're trying to find ways to make it better for you now.
Right.
So from Old City Soda, I went on to consult and work with a lot of cool different brands in LA. One of those was Real Good Foods. Now they're in their 4th, 5th year of business. In every major retailer, I was their former CMO.
Wow.
And they were in the exact same space, but in frozen food. I left them to now start Trust Foods, and following a similar format of developing a keto-friendly product that we all could eat and enjoy, but it's better for you, right? You look at the cereal aisle, and it's just sugary, stuff that's not good for you. That's not what kids should be eating for breakfast.
And that's no sneak diss to Cinnamon
You're
Toast
basically
Crunch.
just giving them candy.
I for sure
Yeah.
got a couple, Honey Nut Cheerios, French Toast Crunch.
Yo,
Cinnamon Toast
have you
Crunch.
noticed about it, bro? All the healthy cereals is in the top of the shelf, all the way to the left or to the right at the end.
Absolutely.
Come on now.
Kids can't see that.
Kids can't reach it.
Exactly.
That's it.
So for me, I think when I started looking at the things I want to make for this world, I want to make something that's not only just good for you, but something I believe in, right? So when I took even just an approach on this design of the box, I want to keep it super minimal, super clean. You guys talk about transparency. I put a window on the box. You can see what it looks like.
Yeah, I like that.
I put the ingredients on the
Like
front of the
that.
box. It doesn't have to be hidden on the side and things you can't read, right? I put my phone number on it because I want you to text me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the idea is to show trust.
Yo, they about to make. Yo, wait.
Yeah, shoot me a
Harp, did you
text.
get that?
No.
They about to run mad business deals.
Definitely says text or call us anytime.
But that's the beauty of transparency, right? If I'm going to take on the biggest cereal brands of what we knew about, I need to be different. I need to be radical. I need to be transparent, right?
You're tackling a heritage right there.
So for me, I think that Trust Foods can be a lot of different products. Cereal might be the first thing we do, but I truly believe in the product. It's made with only 9 ingredients. There's no weird chemicals in it. You're eating basically eggs, egg whites. So for me, I want to see healthier. We just came out of a pandemic, and the whole point from what we should learn from this is that we got to take care of ourselves.
Yes,
am I right? So we got to eat better. We got to work out better. We got to think about what we learn and read. Right, everything matters at this point. So for me, this was a byproduct of the pandemic. No different from when I was in college and I couldn't find a job. I just had to create one, and I became a party promoter.
So
that's the mind of an entrepreneur.
I had to put a bomb on that.
Jeez, we gonna go get canceled. Like I'm saying, even thinking about this. So look, I went to the doctor maybe mid-pandemic. You feel me?
Yeah.
My doctor's like, yo, Benson, you gotta cut down. Gotta cut down the sugars. I said, yo, I'm chilling. You feel me? He said, yo. I said, what you eat for breakfast in the morning? I said,
Chipotle.
Yeah, Chipotle. You know what I mean? If I got the bag, I might get the name brand Frosted Flakes. He said, yeah, let's cut it. Yeah. Cereals, no. Yeah. But the fact that, number one, when was the last time you looked in a box, right?
Yeah.
Of anything, and it had 9 ingredients.
Bro, what?
Let me tell you something. Even lemonade doesn't have 9 ingredients. Has more than 9 ingredients, and it's lemonade.
Yeah, I know.
Water, sugar, and lemons has. You see what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
And the fact we had a cereal with 10 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar,
come on,
egg whites.
Come on, that's what made the power.
And we're confident
carbs.
to put the ingredients on the front of the box.
It's grain free.
Come on, and the front of the box. Now on the side. Not you know what I mean? Not in the small print.
And a phone number on the front to contact us at any time.
So I gotta ask this. I don't want to stop you from cooking though.
Come on.
You done?
No, go ahead.
So I want to ask this though, Kumar. We're from Cleveland. Everybody in this room is from Cleveland.
Yeah.
If I'm from the heart of the city, where it's hard to get Trust cereal, it's hard to get Trust foods. What are you all doing to make sure that this is in front of me? Like this is an option for me? Or are you all taking that step yet to where Trust is an option for me if I'm in the heart of the city?
I mean, we're still pretty young, right? Mm-hmm. I can't say that we're everywhere just yet, but we are online.
Yeah.
We are on Amazon. But, for us as a small business, as a startup, we are trying to get into, the Heinens, the Giant Eagles right now. So,
yeah.
Watch the story. Let's see how it unfolds. I hope we can make it.
I like it.
But right now we are just working our way to get to grocery stores. Just like a lot of other food brands in Cleveland. So you guys get to try this product. You get to see this product before it's really
Come on.
Maybe you can divulge the business strategy. Maybe you can't. So have you guys just ever thought about, I know you said the Giant Eagles and the Heinens. Those are general, Ohio, Cleveland grocery stores. But even we'll say, have you guys thought about the Whole Foods, the
Trader Joe's?
What's Trader Joe's, things Fresh like time. That. They show these will have more of the organic and keto friendly and all of that.
We've got a pretty good sales team kind of working around the clock to at least get the product in their hands.
Right.
We're now finally getting out of the pandemic, and the sales kind of pitches have been very different. Usually you would just go to the buyers and actually get to try the product with them, and they would authorize it. But now it's been completely different where all that's done through Zoom. You send them the box, you just hope that they like it.
Right.
But no, we definitely are trying to get it out there. Talking to all the major retailers right now. So, again, this is really just a few months in.
Right.
We're hoping to kind of get there slowly but surely.
So even what's these flavors? You know what I'm saying? Because listen, when you eat your cereal, yo, I'm not eating shredded wheat. I want to be healthy. I don't want to taste the healthy. What's the flavors you got right here today?
So I brought apple crisp, berry, and chocolate. We do have honey and cinnamon as well.
Oh, come on.
So I brought 3 boxes for you guys if you want to do a taste test.
Oh,
yeah.
So look, I'm always trying to eat, so don't mind if I do.
Closest one, B.
All right, so Don, while you pour those up, or Kumar, are you about? What did you want? Is it cool if Don pours them up?
Yeah, go for it.
So Don is going to pour those up. Don,
stop reading and start pouring.
Yeah, so Kumar, let me ask you this too. While Don is getting those, give me the apple.
I need the berry.
While Don is getting those ready, Kumar, let me ask you this, man. It started.
You see that Ziploc?
Right. Hold on, whoa, time.
Right.
You got the Zip Daddy?
Ziploc.
Let me let it simmer, bro. Let me let it simmer.
How is it that
freshness?
we've never seen a Ziploc before? Am I right?
No, real
You
rap.
gotta roll it up and hope it don't go
I know.
stale.
Hope it don't go-
Never
It don't let
never
you-
had the Ziploc.
Tom, I don't let you got no bugs in your crib.
Come on, man. And depending on who you living with, it's going still.
Come on, now.
It's going still. Kumar, let me ask you this, man. Where is this? Is this going bigger than cereal?
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't call it trust cereal for a reason.
Right.
I'm inspired by Kind Bar. I'm inspired by Honest Company. I look at these companies and these brands and how they're able to make so many different products, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
for
yeah.
me,
Yeah.
it would be a dream to start to explore. And I did the same with Ilthy, where we went from toys to basketballs to sunglasses, and we've been able to make a lot of cool products. So for me, I'd love to start creating, a savory snack or a smoothie, things that we need to be eating that are better for us.
Yeah. Kumar, this is what we about to do. We about to shoot an ad, and you tell us if we could scrap it. We just gonna brainstorm this off the top.
I'm already eating it, bro.
Harp, I already see you eat it. It's
this
past
is fire.
10:45. Chipotle's been. Harp,
Chipotle's
turn this
been
camera
on.
on me for a second. Who can we trust? Trust Foods. Hi guys, I'm Dev the Voice, and if there's anybody I trust, it's Kumar and Trust Foods.
Bro,
This is solid.
fact
Yeah, I like this.
this is
I'm not shooting a commercial. This apple crisp is
you
very
don't have
good.
to like it. You guys can be honest.
No,
nah,
this is
real
good.
rap.
no, for real.
Wait, hold on.
I just need some 2%. I'm good.
If we gonna be anything for our audience, it's honest.
It's a different. It's a different texture from like a corn base.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not as like airy,
Yeah.
but it's more solid. But at the same time, like I don't feel like I'm eating like something healthy.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm eating like
So you get the flavor. is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
I get
Yeah.
it. Like, I get it. Yeah. I still feel like, I guess when you eat cereal is such a thing that's tied to nostalgia that you still want to feel like a kid when you eat cereal. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Unless you get your fiber on.
Nah, that's real.
You gotta eat your whole. You know what I mean? Special
Yeah,
K.
you got that special
But when
doctor's
you talk about
appointment.
cereal, you
Get
want
that
to feel
raisin bran
nostalgic,
powder.
and it still gives me back to them times when I was like, "Hey, man, where's the cereal? I can't miss my Yu-Gi-Oh." You feel me? At 9
Nah, real
o'clock.
rap. Real rap.
No toys in here though. Sorry guys.
Oh, cool.
Hey, in the next box, put some dime figures in there. Put some figures of Dime. Put some figures of Johnny. So here's where I want to take this. Kumar, we have Trust Foods. We have Ilthy. We had Cleveland Hustle. And a lot of these stories, you have worked with people that were close to you.
Yeah.
And a lot of your story, Kumar, would you say it's fair to say that you've worked with friends?
Oh, totally. I know a lot of people say don't do business with friends, but I don't believe that. I feel like if you are friends with them, that's just an added bonus.
So here's what I want to ask you, Kumar. We're a podcast, and we are, I would say we are heavily influenced by a show, a network right now. I don't know how much you pay attention to the news. Pour me up. Thank you.
I just opened chocolate.
Hey, pour me up. Thank you. But I would say that we are a podcast that is heavily influenced by a podcast right now who I'm not going to name, but they're having issues with friends and who owns who pays who, and how everybody gets paid. As a leader
Within the podcast, you mean?
within the podcast,
Got it.
as a leader, as a businessman, as a friend, how do you navigate being a good friend and a good businessman? Is it possible to can I be a good businessman to Don and Johnny while also being a good friend?
I mean, we would all hope so, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think to the question of how do you kind of mix business and friendship, you just need to think about how that other person's feeling at all times. That's the first thing, right? By having issues with equity or ownership or payments, you're thinking about yourself, but we have to think about what they're thinking too, right?
Right.
That's the first thing. I can't really speak on that podcast. I don't know enough of the story, right? But in this case, it just sounds like a dispute where one person feels that they have ownership more than the other, right? But that means they probably didn't have their agreement set up correctly to begin with. I think
Kumar's potting right
just
now.
like a marriage, right? You want to make sure that everything's, the terms are there.
Well, not the
things are set
prenup.
in stone. I think that's the same thing. I have a new business partner. I could probably reveal to you guys. His name is Fabio Salerno. He's an owner
Hey,
of Lago.
who else is getting the scoop? We are, man.
So, you know, him and I consider us better friends than we are business partners right now.
Yeah.
You know, and we're actually opening up a new restaurant pretty soon and got a new ghost kitchen that's in the works that should be launching in a couple of weeks.
I like
the ghost kitchen vibes.
Yeah.
It's definitely a wave.
I want to ask, has there ever been a situation that you had to choose being a better friend than a businessman? And I don't want you to like share too much. This is a transparent podcast, but is there more insight from experience that you could tell us on of a time where you had to choose between being a better friend than a businessman?
For sure. Yeah, there was a recent investment in another very popular clothing brand, kind of in between Cleveland and LA that I made. And I had to kind of take the high road and choose friendship first. So in that case, you know, I could have been difficult. I could have been that investor type to really hold on. But I decided, you know, what I mentioned before about the long-term game with long-term people, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to make sure these are the people I work with, I'm going to plan to work with the next 20, 30 years. That investment didn't really have that fit. And I didn't really want to be a passive investor. I really like being involved with my businesses that, you know, I worked a deal where our friendship is intact and there's no hard feelings. Money is all straightened and they're on their way and I'm on my way. You know, and I had to choose that because I wanted to see them win. I want to see them successful. And I know I'll be just fine anyways. You know, at least I did the right thing.
Right.
You know? So I think that when you're in a certain place in life, you can think that way. When you're struggling or you're, I don't want to say greedy, but you're holding on to your money a little tighter, you do think differently. Right. Yeah. But I think I'm in a place where I was able to at least help someone out. You know?
I like it.
I've definitely done it before. I had to choose friendship over the business.
What? You gonna tell us? Or?
No, I'm not gonna get into that.
Can you so Kumar, can you mix fully, entirely business and friendships? Because like you said, there are issues where, you know, and I don't want to, of course, divulge. We all know what's going on with, you know, that said podcast.
Yeah.
But it's like when you get bigger than we'll say we anticipated. Because naturally, I'm not saying, well, let me not say naturally, because some individuals, okay, let's be realistic. We're doing this brand, whatever it is, and okay, there may be our cap, whatever that cap looks like.
Yeah.
Where that cap is, okay, we're known in city of Cleveland Heights and city of Shaker, but we get to Chagrin and Pepper Pike. They're like, who are y'all? Well, then, okay, we have those surrounding cities, but now, okay, the city of Cleveland knows us. Okay, does Columbus know us? Does Cincinnati know us? And then we get to, we'll say, nationwide. And let's just say you were to get to like nationwide. Do you think that now that we're past that initial cap that we thought we were going to get, do you think that now starts to get a little fishy, a little different? Friends stop looking at each other as friends and potentially family. And now we're looking at each other like, okay, well, you're almost just a number. Then we get into, like we said, paperwork. Okay, well, I started it. No, I started it. This is what I said. This is what I said. I brought this here. So do you think that kind of, can that friendship and business still be there even after you've surpassed what you thought your quote unquote cap would be?
I mean, this goes back to like having the right paperwork at a time. You know, if that's all intact and you know what the terms are, it's kind of like the rules of your board game. You know the terms, you know the rules. There shouldn't be any questions later. For me, I've made plenty of bad business deals. I've lost a lot of money. I've lost a lot of friendships, but I've learned, like I said before, I learned a lot from them. So every time I get in business with someone, I already have a wealth of experience from beforehand to make sure I don't make those mistakes, you know, and I make sure all my contracts are in place. You know what I mean? But I also think that if I didn't have one, well, two things. One, it's a chance to experience what happened, right? And I can learn from it. But I'm also not the type of person who's extremely greedy. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people want to hold on that this is mine, but if it's not making money, who cares?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you own, it's like, you know, 50% of what? Is it even profitable? You know what I mean? A lot of people hold on to like this, the idea of equity, but it doesn't have any real value. You got to put the work in, the time in to make it valuable, to make money while you sleep.
So
you know what I mean? So for me, I don't really get caught up on equity deals. I don't get caught up on ownership stakes, stuff like that. Because for me, it's like, I just want to work. I want to have fun. I want to be friends with my business partners. I want to make sure that the terms are set.
Right. So just a quick question, just kind of completely backtracking.
Yeah.
I know we know Shark Tank and all that in the show that you were on. When you were doing that show in terms of, okay, I'll invest, were you trying to invest with equity or like, okay, I'll invest my $500,000, and then on the back end, I just want an additional $500,000 for the next 5-6 years, whatever the case may be.
The deals that I was pursuing, the ones I made were more cash based, just strictly investment. But it was more passive at the time. I was really busy with a lot of other work, so I couldn't be an active entrepreneur. I learned a lot. Right. I'm losing a lot of money, So for me, I look at my time as a passive investor with that time on the show is very different from who I am today. I'm not necessarily making a lot of passive investments. I'm getting involved with things I believe in. Okay.
So go ahead.
So even like that, just doing that show, lessons you learned from that show.
Exactly.
Would you do like something like that similar again though?
No. No. It would be really hard. It's funny because a lot of people know Glenn. They know people I work with, but I'm generally the unsung hero that's working behind the scenes. You know what I mean? And I kind of like that. I really don't mind. I mean, I don't do a lot of podcasts in general.
Hey.
So I won't say I do enjoy doing it, but I like to be anonymous in some ways. I want to be anonymous on an island chilling in 10, 15 years. I don't want to necessarily have to be on the grind all the time. So for me, I think as much as I enjoy my time on the show, I think it was a good experience, but I don't know if I'd want to do it again.
Not pressed for the fame?
No, I don't think so.
I want to ask you this.
Maybe. It depends. I don't know where I am in life, but I would rather stick to what I like doing than to have to be on TV.
So would you rather would you rather invest in a show like that again? Right, but not be the Shark Tank investor, the judge, would be on the back end,
the production side. Yeah, probably. I'm a builder. I enjoy building, so I think if there's an opportunity to create something like the next Shark Tank, for sure, that sounds fun.
Hey,
I'm all about trying a new experience.
As soon as that camera come on, you like, oh, hey, nah.
You heard what you said. Let's get in the laboratory. Let's start writing some stuff. Let's start. So Kumar, I want to ask you this, man, and we gonna be letting you go soon, but I do want to ask you this before we let you go.
Talk to him.
Where have you failed?
Oh, I can keep going.
Where have you failed? What is the project that is, damn, that project slipped away, or damn, I messed that bag up?
It's funny. I feel like I can tell you guys a lot now at this point. You have a timeline to kind of figure out where I am.
Yeah.
On the show, I opened a bar. It did not do that well. We did win like best Cleveland bar in 2017 or whatever. It was cool, but I wasn't that hands-on.
Yeah.
I would love to do that again for Cleveland. And build something brick and mortar, just something I can go to. I live here now. I just moved back. So for me, it's like I want to build something physical, which I'm about to do again. And that was a big undertaking. That was, to me, a failure that I can't seem to let go of a little bit, because I was a party promoter. I worked in clubs. I worked in bars. Then I opened one. I was like, this is going to be easy. I got this. I've been doing it. Didn't work out. I'm trying again. And the lessons I can say that I learned is that you should never give up. Just because you failed once doesn't mean you can't fail twice. And that's okay. I'm okay and prepared for that. But I'm excited to try again.
I want to, and before we let you go, on the early days of Clubhouse, me and my good friend Johnny here, I call him Bedside. His mama call him Bedside.
Mama does not call him
hold on, let me find out.
Mama does not call him
Is anyone on Clubhouse these days? I feel like it's not the same.
So it hasn't been the same. In the early days, me and my good friend Bedside, we tried to get Don on there. Don's a little bit of a rebel.
I think what happened was
I got on there. I
think what happened was with Clubhouse, the exclusivity went down, and it wasn't like a I've been doing my bag and luxury shit because I've been. Come on now, you know what I'm doing.
I see you.
I've been researching about luxury, and I think just the exclusivity of it. Like you think about it, back in the day, not even back in the day, it was like a couple months ago. Like you had one invite. You had one invite.
Clubhouse was back in 05.
Yeah, I'm sitting on like 9 right now.
You feel me? You had one invite, and now I'll probably like 15 of them now. And then it was like, and then I hate to say it, but you started people come on Clubhouse that should not have been on Clubhouse. You know what I'm saying? At the time, it started getting very like, just like. People will start a room and be like that. Hey, I want to talk. And it's like, nah.
Moaning rooms and stuff.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That was nasty. That was literally a nasty bag. Pun intended. Pun intended.
In the early days of Clubhouse, me and Johnny were in a room, and the room was called, like, Johnny, correct me if I'm wrong, like the Cleveland. Dude, what was it even called? Like the Cleveland. It wasn't the Cleveland House room. It was just like I'm from Cleveland room with a Cleveland room.
Yeah, I think I was in there.
You was in there.
So Kumar, let me ask you this. I think you were in there actually.
It was two of them.
I probably wasn't talking though.
It was two of them.
this is probably going to be our first full circle moment, and it's pretty cool to be sitting in it and realizing it. In that room, the big thing was about having to get out of Cleveland to be successful in Cleveland. You've moved to LA. You made a life for yourself. You established yourself out there. You are back here now. But how much of your success did you attribute to moving to LA and leaving Cleveland?
Wow, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
I think that it had a huge impact, actually. I think that everyone in their life should at least leave where they're from, at least once in their life.
Yeah.
It's funny because when I look at the time of when I was about 28, 29, and I wanted to move out, I felt that I needed to do more. I felt that I needed to be in a better city with more opportunity, more resources, more recognition. I felt that there was something better out there for me, which is a terrible way to look at things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I had a different mindset at the time. I wanted to kind of be a small fish in a big city instead of being a big fish in a small city.
Yeah.
And, I left a little heartbroken. I felt that I wanted to do stuff in Cleveland, but no one recognized me. It was ironic that I had to go to LA to be recognized to then now come home. But now that I'm back here, sorry, I'm again rambling.
No, go ahead.
No,
I think that everyone really does need to try to leave. It's kind of like going from black and white to color.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you leave a city, you experience things, and then the goal is to try to bring those ideas back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whether it's better for you eating or dope streetwear or a sushi restaurant opening up on the East Bank, you want to make sure that you're doing cool shit that's from another city. In my case, like I want to bring Nobu to Cleveland. Why not?
Why not?
Even no, Deb, don't you dare do it.
So I think that's really what it is. I really think that everyone's got to try to leave. Go out there and begin to see in color, and then come home.
So let's go there now. We gonna let you leave now. We ain't gonna hold your hostage, but we gotta explore that because I feel like a lot of people are scared to leave Cleveland. And you said some values, the family values, like kind of like that grassroots. You want to stick to what we know values. You know what I'm saying? Because it just feels natural for us. Because the Midwest is a little bit slower. You know what I'm saying? It's fast but slow at the same time. Mm-hmm. But even just moving, what was some of the different it's not failures but hardships when you first moved? Just like and it don't have to be just maybe a feeling you had, just micro things that you weren't even used to. That stuff in Cleveland, you was like, oh, this is different from Cleveland. this is a little bit wild, Yeah,
the first thing I think I realized was that in my mind I always thought Cleveland was slow. But what I realized was people are just faster out there. Yeah. That's all it is. Right? When you go to New York or Chicago or LA, you're talking about transplants from other cities that come to those cities, right? Mm-hmm. Transplants kind of like run around in the city because they want to show the rest of the world that they made it or they can make it, right?
Yeah.
I learned that I do business with transplants generally, right? Because they move a little quicker. So it's not necessarily to say that it's a faster city or a better city. They're just people that move a tad faster than Cleveland or Columbus, right? Coming back here though, now I know this and I say I want to work with people who respond quickly. Or get back to me quickly because they have that same mindset that I met or I worked with transplants.
Yeah.
So now I'm like thinking to myself, who do I want to do business with? Who do I want to work with? And do they move at what you could say a normal pace is?
Yeah.
In the case of us, like you shot me an email. I think I didn't get back to you. My bad. But then you followed up with me quickly.
And I
think I just called you straight up.
Nah, tell him what
I just called him.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, let's and shout out to Carrie for even getting us together.
Yeah, big shouts out to Carrie. I love you.
But I think for me, I was like, I love what you guys are doing. Let's get on a call and let's just schedule a date. Let's make it happen. That's exactly what LA or these big cities are. They just move. There's no need to sit on Clubhouse and talk about what we're doing. Yeah. Let's just sit down and get some shit done.
You know what? I like that.
I like
right
it.
there. Yeah. Him saying like, yo, like, because that's one, and I'm gonna critique the big Cleveland clubhouses.
Yeah,
that was my biggest like pet peeve of it was a lot of like, telling people what to do instead of showing people how to do it. You see what I'm saying? Like, you need to leave Cleveland. Oh yeah, no shit. But it's like, how do I leave Cleveland? Like, how do I maneuver these different cities? Oh, you need to find a mentor. Okay, how the fuck do I find a mentor? He's like, oh, actually, you're not find a mentor, but you're not willing to even like offer your mentorship. It's just like little stuff like that. Are like, oh, reach out to people. Well, are you gonna respond back? You did. No, we appreciate you. You see what I'm saying? But we all have seen it. We all from Cleveland, so we're not gonna get into the Cleveland back. We all know Cleveland.
Yeah.
But it's just like I like when people show instead of tell.
That's a fact.
You know?
Well, you got to remember, like 99% of people you meet will talk about themselves, and they will show you in some ways like more about who they are instead of what they're doing.
Yeah,
that's okay. It's that 1% of people you meet that are real with you who want to just build. Right.
Yeah.
That's actually why I have a hard time on Clubhouse, because I'm like, I don't want to say I can't relate with people, but it's always one-sided.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's cool to be able to share your story and talk about it, but I would rather have people ask questions than I can just tell you what I think I know.
Yeah.
To me, that's cooler, but you can't really do that with Clubhouse because there's just too many people in the room.
That's a fact.
You know, it's more so everyone go around the room and just talk about what you're doing. That's it.
Very true. That's why I stopped using it too, especially after the moan rooms got slow.
The bag was too nasty.
Once the pace of the moan room slowed down, I slowed down with
the other thing too is when we talk about Instagram or Clubhouse, and it's funny because we went talking about the days before social media to now, like constant communication in these huge groups, right? We're talking about like mass messaging, right? But the best relationships are the ones that are often one-on-one.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Evie and Glenn, right? These are MySpace and AOL messages one-on-one.
Yeah.
You will never be able to beat a one-on-one message with someone about something you can learn than a group of 20 people talking about their next mixtape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
So don't forget about that. I think the micro conversations are way bigger than the macro.
Come on, yo.
I definitely think that like those, like, I don't know, people lost the art of the DM slide in a proper DM slide. Not to get the girl.
Yeah.
I'm like talking about. I know people that literally can slide in any girl's DM, but can't even slide in a professional's DM.
That's the scary
And
back.
that is
That's
so
the
weird to me,
reality
because it's
that
like
you
you have the confidence to, like, being transparent. You want to slide in girl DM to have sex, do whatever you want to do, right? But you can't even do it for maybe 45. We'll say 45 minutes for a good man. 45 minutes of pleasure, right?
Yeah.
But you can't even hit somebody up for maybe a lifetime or just a life-changing moment for yourself. You feel me? Yeah. I don't know. This thing I learned in a couple months, like just going what I've been doing these past months.
Yeah.
Like you have to just be like, because the worst thing you do is not respond.
Come on, man.
And
if you don't try, you'll never know. But the other thing too, I mean, on that subject, I think that a lot of people come into a conversation with a motive, right? I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a motive, but one, at least like have the intent to provide, right? Give back first before you ask. I think that's often forgotten. I usually get messages like, hey, can you help me? But they don't think to ask me first how I can help you. At least consider that, right? In the case of like us talking, I'm like, okay, obviously I love what you guys are doing. I need to promote you guys and get you out there. But at the same time, you're also giving me a platform. I just moved home. I don't know anyone. I've been gone for a couple years. So there's a mutual respect here that I think we understand quickly. So that's why it happened. But a lot of times when people slide on my DMs, like it's always me, but they're not talking about what I might need. You know?
Yeah.
So I think that's the approach I take. Whenever I have to message someone, I will try to give them value before myself, and I'll continue to give them value. You know, whether it's free product or a way to even introduce them to the right person.
So how would someone that might even think that they have nothing? So Kumar, you have all these things, investments, a portfolio, right? A rap sheet, you're lit. But but someone that is maybe just starting out and they feel like they don't have nothing to offer to you.
They think that though. You shouldn't think that. You should assume that I have something valuable, right? Believe that in yourself first, but maybe it's not the right moment that we can work together, but at least no harm in one, reaching out, and two, providing value. I think that even if that person sees that message, that's equally as important as them responding, right? At least they saw it. So I don't think that one should feel like they're inadequate. You know, I think it's just worth a shot to try. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, listen, Kumar, let me tell you.
What's up? I already know what you're about to do.
Also, one more thing. I don't got my shit together. Let me put that, together. Like, I'm not in every grocery store yet.
Yeah.
My restaurant's not open yet. I need help.
Yeah.
We all need help. Yeah. Right? It might not even be a professional thing. It could be about happiness and mental health.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I need a friend. Maybe I need to get out. Maybe you have a party you want to invite me to. I don't know. It could be anything. So it's not always about helping someone in business. It might just be, connecting. There's no harm in that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You know?
So you already gave us one. I'm gonna ask you for two more in terms of tips, because now we're in the days of, and I'd like to say, and people correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like we're in the days of entrepreneurship. Yeah. Whether it's these TikTokers, these YouTubers, Okay, I don't go to, I prefer just to do Forex, stocks, options, whatever the case may be. We're selling clothes, shoes, whatever. We're in this space now where we're not doing the regular 9 to 5. We're trying to do it we're not trying to clock in. Somebody telling me what to do all the time. I want to clock in when I feel like it. I want to get my full 8 hours, all of that. So what are 2 tips as an entrepreneur that 2 more tips?
2 more.
As 2 more, not the last one. You can't recycle.
Got it.
I remember, can't recycle. 2 more tips to give the entrepreneurs out there is like, okay, whether it's keep trying. There is no such thing as a bad idea, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
As a seemingly successful entrepreneur, which I wouldn't say seemingly, I'd say very successful.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to be specific here. I know last thing I said was about learning, right? Having just that zest to want to keep learning.
Yeah.
I think that, obviously we're in a new society where everyone's got their own hustle or side hustle.
Yeah.
Right. But I think that you want to pay attention to, and this is more so about an intrinsic value, right? Not everyone can say, oh, I'm going to go be, like for me, I can't be like, I'm going to go be a rapper, right? It's just not inherently inside me. I never grew up that way. It's not going to be me.
For sure.
That's fine. I'm okay with that, but I have to understand that I can't be that, right?
Right.
I think that inside you have to think about what you know from your earliest days. My mom was a creative. She was an artist. So for me, I was around paintbrushes and color all the time. I didn't know I would actually use that skill set later on. Right. But I look back at my, again, my journey from entrepreneurship and say, oh, wow, I was pretty creative in art classes, in high school, in college. I was doing something artistic my entire life.
Yeah.
Maybe I should do something creative. Right. And I think that you might not realize it, but when you're born and you're exposed to certain things, you get an aptitude on certain things more than others, right? It's kind of like your skill stacking, right, early on.
Yeah.
Right? Some people might be better at music and they have a better ear. Some people might be able to draw. Some people might be able to speak better and are more persuasive, right? Because maybe they learned to talk earlier. We don't know, right? I think that's one of the first things I'll say is look at what you may have learned before you were 6 or 7 years old. Chances are that's how you become successful, because those could be possibly not just the things you're exposed to, but your God-given talents. I think some people are stuck in those 9 to 5 jobs because they never thought, what did I love to do when I was a kid? Right? That was my interest. For me, like I love playing video games. I don't play them today, but I love it. I know I'd make a great video game designer.
Yeah.
And I could say that now. I know that that's inside me somewhere, that when that day comes and I can build a studio in Cleveland and make my own first game, I would be prepared for that. Right? So that's one thing I would say. Now the second one, it's similar. So I'm going to connect the two, right? So it's your early age skills that you may have picked up, or you have the aptitude for that skill, right? But along the way, you also pick up things too. Now, everyone has they'll give you shit for high school or college. Like, was it even worth it, right? Do I need to know the algebra, right? I think you do. I actually think that the idea of learning comes from school. I believe in it. College, maybe not so much, but it's your choice if you want to, get deep, right? But I think that along the way, you pick up skills too. In my story, I might have been good at being creative at an early age, and I never forgot to be creative, right? But as I got older, I got good at selling, good at marketing, I got good at promoting. So for me, I was able to kind of do both. But that was a skill that I learned that I enjoyed. Yeah. Right? Be aware of those things, right? Be aware of who you were at an early age and be aware of who you're becoming, because those 2 skills is what makes you successful. If you look at someone like Donald Trump or Elon Musk or even Kim Kardashian, they usually probably picked up skills along the way to make them successful. I hate to say it, but even though Trump might be someone who's, hated, he did get his name out there. Put his name on towers and casinos and planes, and people believed in that. And it worked. That's branding and marketing. And sales. So I think that's something to pay attention to. Obviously, we can look at case studies of Kanye or Trump, but if you can figure out those 2 things, you are unstoppable. Yeah.
Well, listen, Kumar, as somebody who has figured that thing out, there's 3 people who are trying to figure that thing out. I think I'm going to speak for all of us. I don't typically do this, but we appreciate you coming here, and we appreciate you giving out the jewelry, the wisdom, the knowledge from your experiences. I was just telling Don, it's a blessing when you get to hear and learn from people who have went through it so you don't have to go through it. So we appreciate you coming here.
Dodge those potholes, right?
You feel me? Especially if you're in Cleveland.
Stay off of.
Yeah. So we're appreciative of you coming through and giving us some insight. But most importantly, we are much bigger than this platform. Our audience, giving our audience this insight. We wouldn't be able to sit here if it wasn't for our diehard audience. And I appreciate you, and we appreciate you talking to them and giving them some insight. Kumar, before you tell them how they can get in touch with you, how they can follow you and stay connected with you, what is the next? What is the next for Kumar?
So I hinted a couple times, working on a ghost kitchen and a sushi restaurant bar. It's going to be right next to Lago.
Hey,
yeah. So working on kind of a Nobu concept. We're going to have these sushi boxes coming out in June. And it's going to be on Uber Eats, DoorDash, all that stuff.
I love it.
I designed the box. I can't wait to show it to you guys.
I love it.
And then we're going to turn that box into a full-fledged restaurant, too.
So you said Nobu. You expound upon that?
Are you familiar with Nobu?
Nope.
That's okay. Nobu is a very successful restaurant. There's one in LA. They're all over the place. And it's high-end kind of sushi. So for me, and this goes back to going from black and white to color, I just feel like I haven't really had good sushi in Cleveland.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, I would love to bring that to Cleveland from what I've seen, what I've learned. And Fabio, my business partner, who's leading the whole project, he, similarly went to Miami for a few years and then came back. So I look up to him as a big brother and as a business partner, and he's done such a great job with Lago and his other properties. So him and I have kind of teamed up to kind of build this and bring it to Cleveland.
So before you tell us where they can follow you at, how they can connect with you,
Yeah.
Kumar, tell us, what is it going to take for you to come back?
You tell me. I'm just a phone call away.
I love it. Oh, we. Kumar, tell them how they can stay connected with you, where they can follow you at, how they can reach you, how they can stay inspired.
Any shout outs you got for your folks?
Yeah, my website's just kumar-arora.com. It's kumar-arora.com. Social media handles all the same. It's kaarora007 on IG, Twitter, MySpace, Facebook, you name
I love it.
There.
I love it.
And you can always message me. I try to respond to everyone, and glad to be here. Honestly, guys, we need more podcasts in Cleveland. We need you guys to keep doing what you're doing, because the guys like me from my 20s, I left because I didn't get opportunities like this. To be honest, so highlight the young guys out there trying to create something cool. Because I feel like I might have in some ways made it right, but there are others out there that are hiding in the suburbs or on the east side or wherever who might not get those chances. So I think you guys are sorely needed.
I appreciate that.
Appreciate that for real.
For sure.
Definitely an honor, man. Do you have any shout outs? Shout outs is a very important part of this show.
Well, shout out to my girl for actually getting me to come home, right?
Hey, shouts out to her.
We just bought a home 2 weeks ago, so pretty excited about that. So, I mean, for me, I'm excited to be back in Cleveland. I feel like for me, my personal goal is to try to at least make an investment of $1 million and 50 jobs in the next 12 months.
I love
it.
Restaurant being the first one. So I think that I'm really excited to be able to look at Cleveland in a new set of eyes and really make some things happen. So shout out to her for actually giving me the leap of faith and the push to make it home. And outside of that, shout out to my business partners. I feel like all of us are always hustling. Glenn, Fabio, me, right? We've talked about them all, but I couldn't be here without them too, and I think that it's easy to see the glamorous fun stuff with entrepreneurship, but there's a lot of grueling nights, there's a lot of hardship that goes into it. Making clothes and all that stuff's not as easy as you think.
Hey, look, I know bombs, round of applause, please, something. Something.
I gave him a round.
That's real.
I gave him a round.
That is real.
Shout out to all the small business out in Cleveland. It was not an easy year, so for me, now that I'm back, I just want to be able to try to help everyone I can, truthfully.
Listen, man, before we get into you all shout outs.
Go ahead, go.
Yo, son, hey, Kumar, if you ever got a podcast that you want to invest in, reach out to these guys. Don, Johnny, shout outs.
Shout out to people that want me dead, because without that, you feel I won't be living.
That's pretty intense.
Shout out to them. Yeah. This is my biggest shout out. I got this right here.
Yeah.
Shout out to my people that got their
shout out to Chipotle.
Chipotle. Definitely shout out to Chipotle.
Hashtag ad.
Yo, look, y'all need to chill out, because I need that
sponsored.
sponsorship. Y'all keep shouting them out like this. I need that sponsorship.
Come on now, you feel me? But shout out to all the people that got their degrees.
Yeah.
But let me make a bigger shout out. Shout out to the people that got their master's degrees in the pandemic, and shout out to everybody that was black that got the doctorate. But also too, because this thing when you get your doctorate, like, you think older, you think like very like professional suit and tie.
Yeah.
I know people that literally got their doctorate degrees and like had grills on, like they're still saucy people. You feel
I
me?
love it. Yeah.
And then I saw a dude on Instagram, most stylish dude I know. You know what I'm saying? I look up to a lot of people. The people I don't know, I look up to him in the style game and stuff like that.
For sure, like me.
And and then he got his doctorate. Not at all.
Disrespected
Not at all. And he got his doctorate.
Yeah.
And for him to like get his doctorate and like to him like be wearing grills, shoes, and stuff like that, it just kind of breaks down those stereotypes. You know what I mean? And that's important to see, because a lot of people that maybe are just fly or just have maybe just a different type of like feel to them.
For sure.
You know, don't think that that's possible, or don't think it's like they don't feel like they need to do it, because they feel like it's not. How can I put it? It's not for them.
Yeah.
But anything's for you. It's what you make it.
That's a fact.
So I want to shout out to everybody that got the doctors, got the masters, got the bachelors, and are staying true to themselves, because yourself is your superpower. You know. So
that's a fact. Don?
Y'all know the vibe. Shout out to Mental Health Mondays. I know Deb don't check on me and Johnny, but we check on y'all. Make sure y'all are all right. Shout out to everybody who comments and you know, who I message, you know, making sure y'all are good mentally. Cause I know, you know, we are still in a tough time. It is not 100% yet. I know Mike is getting ready to drop the masks, but I know it's still, you know, tough out here. So shout out to you all. I will piggyback on Johnny's shout out. Shout out to all the nurses that just graduated from Cleveland State. Shout out to all the nurses that just graduated from Miami. Shout out to all the nurses who I know who graduated from I just forgot Clark Atlanta, all of that.
Take care of me.
I'm dead. Y'all doing y'all thing. Congratulations. I know y'all hopping right into the fire. So we appreciate you and everything that y'all have been doing. Go ahead, John.
Yeah.
Something else.
Real quick too.
What's up?
Everybody that supported that Justin Bibbs interview, shout out to them too. Like yo, I definitely was at like I'm gonna say the story. I was at the concession stand.
Yeah.
Like the shoe restoration place, business in Larchmere. Shout out to them too.
Yeah.
Pulled up and he was like, yo, I mess with the Bibbs interview. Is lit. And it's shout out for that support. You feel me? Because I feel like I don't know why that Bibbs interview was like so much bigger than maybe what we thought it was at one point now. Because it's like no one is really talking to politicians from the voice of a millennial.
That's a fact.
It's always old folks, or it's always those like that jargon. Like I'm like, bro, no one. We care about taxes, but how does that affect us? How does this thing? So like, people really rocking with it. People are hitting us up or hit me up all the time. People I didn't even know they even watch the podcast.
Come on, man.
Or listen to us. So shout out to them, bro. I'm done though. I'm putting my down.
The last things is shouts out to the young guy Harp, man. Harp has put Don and Johnny in 4K many of times, and we
made my beard look sexy, bro. I don't know if he put extra gloss on me, baby.
Yo,
come on now,
man. So shouts out.
No, before you even continue, shouts out to Hart for for making when we did the promo. The list of the black women made it glow.
Come on, man.
Shouts out to you. Hey, look, Harp, you know who you are.
Harp, we love
go
you.
ahead, man. You know who you are.
Once again, Kumar, we appreciate you coming through. Shouts out to you, and sort of, to be honest with you, transparently speaking, we've put a lot of sweat and blood into this brand, a lot of sweat and blood into this podcast, and so to be respected from you and your peers and people that have put the work in as well, we appreciate that as we continue to build on this journey. Shouts out to the people who have subscribed, liked, and vibed to this podcast when we were in the closet at Notre Dame College with USB microphones trying to make something stick. This episode, this moment, everything that we do is for you all.
From the bottom, right?
Come on, man.
Bottom,
we love you all. We appreciate you all. Stay locked in with us. If you listen to this podcast, make sure you leave a review on Apple Music, man. Listen, expect for this episode to drop on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe there as well. I love these guys. I love Kumar. We love you all. We out.